Good day. I am Duveen Damon. I am 24 years old and I have chosen the topic biodiversity.
Right. And I'm Zayan Samuels. I'm 27 years old, and Duveen and I will be speaking about biodiversity, which is the topic. Right.
Well, the first question one will ask is what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is a term that represents the total variety of all life on Earth. Thousands of different worlds of habitats, millions of different species, billions of different individuals, and trillions of characteristics they all have. Only when life is at its most variant, vigorous, biodiverse, can we hope to thrive. We may not know it, but we need forests to block away carbon and keep the climate stable. We need all the organisms to keep the food we eat in supply. Biodiversity provides all the things we need to survive for free. So, to define biodiversity in its simplest way, biodiversity is all the plants and animals together with their habitats.
And the habitat is where they live in the environment.
Yeah,
Okay? Yeah,
it's the
it's
place
where
where they live.
yeah, and where they will eat and okay,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. All right. So now we have different classifications of biodiversity. So one will be the protists,
Second one is fungi.
and we also have bacteria,
Fourth is plants.
and the last one is the animals and the which is basically mammals. Huh? So I will first speak about the protists, and the protista kingdom's primary feature is that it has a membrane and an enclosed nucleus. And an example of the protista is the green algae. You see the in the water, the green
Yeah, in
algae.
the
We
water.
all know algae. And
Yeah.
it lives in oceans, but also you can even have it in your pool. You can have it in the ponds, in the wetlands, all of those things. And it actually
In the dams.
performs, yes, everywhere. So basically water, and it's actually performs half of our Earth's photosynthesis. So it's actually very important, even though it's gross. Some characteristics of protista are that they're motile and aquatic. So that means they live in water. And most of them are actually unicellular and produce asexually. So that's quite interesting. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, next to you.
Right. I'm going to talk about fungi. Fungi contains a cell wall and are omnipresent. Organisms that include microorganisms like yeast, molds, and mushrooms. Here are some characteristics of fungi. They reproduce by means of spores. Fungi can't perform photosynthesis.
Yeah.
Fungi store their own food in the form of starch, and they may be unicellular or filamentous. And
Okay.
some animals eat fungi as a form of food, which is very interesting.
That's crazy, no?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy that they eat the fungi.
yeah,
What's like you get like poisonous mushrooms, but then you get like normal
yeah,
mushrooms as a I think it's like that. You
yeah.
mean, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right, and then we'll move on to the bacteria part. And these are microorganisms with single cells that do not have organelles. So it's the three domains of life for bacteria referring to one of the domains is that they produce asexually, and the bacteria's DNA is located in the nucleoid. And then lastly, bacteria has a cell membrane and a cell wall. You can see in that
Yeah.
little picture how they just spread everywhere. Well, we know about
Yeah.
bacteria and it's how it spreads, right? And
Okay.
then we have the plants, right?
Yes, plants. Plants consist of all the plants. A rigid cell wall is contained by the plant cell.
Mhm.
Plants have chloroplast and chlorophyll pigment, which is needed for photosynthesis. As we all know, chlorophyll is needed. Some characteristics of the plant
Mhm.
kingdom is they make their own food,
Mm.
they reproduce asexually,
Mm.
and they are non-motile.
Okay. Yeah. So they don't move, they're not able to walk and
Yeah,
move and
yeah.
stuff, yeah. So on that note, the animal kingdom, which is the biggest of them all, consists of living and all living things, even extinct animals. They do not possess chlorophyll like in the cell wall, unlike some plants, so that's where they differ. Well, there's a lot of differences, but they are also mobile and they heterotrophies. So we have sensory mammals, have sensory organs, and we can do reproduction, and we also have very complex tissues, right? Unlike the plants.
This is very interesting.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. Right, I'm going to talk about the local
Okay.
diversity.
So now we're gonna talk about the local biodiversity in the Yalderberg Nature Reserve.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah, it is the information you get.
Yeah,
The
it's
city of Cape Town and the groups of the Yalderberg Nature Reserve provide assistance and care for the Yalderberg Nature Reserve in
mm,
Somerset West.
mm,
The peaks and cliffs above the reserve
mm,
are under the management of Cape Nature. To
okay.
ensure that everyone may enjoy the Helderberg Nature Reserve, an
Mm,
organization called Friends of the Reserve assists with projects,
mm,
maintenance, information sharing, fundraising, and education.
mm. It's important that they do this, they participate in projects for maintenance because
Yeah,
we need as we now explained, we need this for life. We need it to live. So
yeah.
the nature reserve is actually doing us quite a solid. Okay. You want to go into the species diversity?
Species diversity in this environment and an explanation of roles played,
Mm-hmm. Right.
which is reptiles, mammals, plants and flowers, invertebrates, amphibians, and birds.
Yeah. I like that there's a lot of diversity in
And
the bird.
there's even more.
Yeah, there is so much more when it comes to
Yeah,
the diversity within them. So just
yeah,
to clarify like the role that all of those diverse species that you now explained is that the flowers play a crucial role in our ecosystem, and our crops need flowers for pollination, and obviously our crops are very important for like the food supply. So if we lose our flowers, we could lose up to 35% of our crops. And the animals, now the animals come into play, and they rely on the flowers for nectar and pollen. And this helps with pollinating other plants, right? So, and that's the part in it. And then insects, the invertebrates, in other words, they feed on the plants, the birds feed on the insects, and the birds of prey feed on those birds. And then the animals, they also depend on the plants for survival. And some animals eat plants directly, while others will eat the animal that eats the plant. So that is actually like the main, like really.
yeah,
And then when the animal dies, the animal carcasses will provide nutrients in the soil for these plants to grow. So that's all the roles.
This is very fascinating information.
It is, eh? Um, so we also need to make our students, when we do teach, hopefully one day
Mm,
we do teach, then we must like make them aware of how important it is to look after the earth.
yeah, in our environment.
Yeah, because it's very important. Right.
Genetic diversity in this environment.
Mhm.
The genetic diversity in the Helderberg Nature Reserve has various genetically diverse flora and fauna. Some
Mhm.
flora genetic diversity examples
Mhm.
is the king protea, the march lily, and the painted lily.
Mhm.
In amphibians is the clicking stream frog and the painted reed frog.
That's quite cool. And then there's also the birds and the invertebrates. So that the diversity in the species of birds, or some of them that live in this area, is the Egyptian goose and the Cape sugarbird. Now we can also see that the Egyptian goose is near water, the Cape sugarbird is on the flowers. So we can clearly see that the Cape sugarbird bird will eat
Eat the
of the
sweet
flowers
nectar.
and do the pollen thing, right? That we just
Yeah.
explained. And then the invertebrates is some of them that live in this area is the protea flea and the common rain spider.
Yeah. Okay. The genetic diversity in the Helderberg Nature Reserve has many genetically diverse mammals and reptiles. Mammals genetic diversity examples is the common duiker and the leopard.
Mm.
In reptiles is the puff adder and I can't see it.
The
The
mountain
mountain
goat.
tortoise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, man. I know sometimes this is not clear. I just help you out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, there's monkeys also that live there, Duveen. There's so many things,
Yeah.
right? That's insane.
It's just a few.
Yeah,
There's
that
so
is just
many
a
more.
few. There's so
Mm,
much.
yes.
No, we
Yeah.
there's too much for us to talk about, basically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just want to touch on the ecological diversity within this environment. It will have the wetlands and ponds where some of the species their habitat is in the wetlands and the ponds. Some of them some of the habitats are like forests. Like for example, like I said, there's monkeys, but I mean
Mm,
baboons that will like climb
yeah.
up in the trees. We know that they live in like they sleep in trees and stuff. And also snakes and things. And then the grassland, there's also grassland in the Cape Helderberg, the Helderberg Nature Reserve for our mammals, right?
Yeah.
So
It's very interesting how each animal has their own habitat.
yeah, and it's all like in one area, but it's all like
Yeah.
spread around and they just live
Yes.
together. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's quite cool. Okay, then let's get into fascinating information. That's my favorite part.
Okay, the fascinating information about plants.
Mm,
Plants play a very important role in our human life
mm,
because they release oxygen,
mm,
what we need as human beings to be able to breathe.
yeah.
Plants can live for hundreds of years, and humans also use plants to make medicine.
Mm,
Through chemical signals and underground networks,
mm,
plants can communicate and share vital information with
mm,
each other. Plants are suitable for surviving in different climates, and they also provide habitats for various animals, such as birds, who make nests in trees, and bees that live on leaves.
mm,
Carnivorous plants, such as the Venus flytrap and pitcher plants, have
mm,
developed unique mechanisms to capture and consume insects. This
yeah.
is very interesting to see how plants capture insects.
Yeah. Did you, some people put their finger in there and it's not, it's, you've ever seen that? You must go Google it actually. But yeah, on topic, like before this assignment, I didn't know about all these things. It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
really fascinating actually.
Is
And then thank you, Duveen, for that. That was very cool. That was very cool. And then Duvina spoke about the plants. Um, I will explain some fascinating information on the animals. Um, some animals float on their back while eating, like sea otters. And they also hold hands while they sleep to avoid drifting from each other. That's really sweet. And some animals, their skin color is not actually what we see from the eye. Like a polar bear looks white to us, but they're actually black, which is mind-blowing. And flamingos are not pink, they're actually gray. Most dangerous snake is called the inland taipan and can kill more than 100 men with just one bite. That is also, I don't like snakes are insane.
me
And
neither.
the most deadliest animal on earth is the mosquito. Ay. And also the shortest living animal in the world is the mayfly. Its entire adult span is in 24 hours. So say now you look at a fly
Just
today, no?
yeah,
3 o'clock today, for example. And then tomorrow you see a fly at 4 o'clock. That is not the same fly. It's crazy.
yeah.
Like
It's
you're there
it's
on the side
crazy.
loving no, like that's a different fly.
Just
Yeah.
imagine
Yeah. It's fun.
floating while we're eating like sea otter
I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even comprehend that. And also that they're on their backs, like
while eating.
while eating. Like we know we must sit up so that we can digest
Yes.
our food. So it's really fascinating. And now we can address some
Okay.
of the common questions.
About the ecological importance of biodiversity.
Yep.
Number one, what are the main causes of biodiversity loss?
Mm.
Habitats lost due to human activities such as development, farming, mining, and transportation. Overexploitation of biological resources such as hunting, fishing, and collecting of species.
Wow. Well, that's why we must take care of our environment,
Species and
Yeah. And then number two is how does biodiversity determine the function of our ecosystem, right? So one of the functions is that it increases the species diversity, such as productivity, but also during the process of biodiversity, as we said earlier, that there's so many species that rely on, for example, our flowers, right? And
yeah,
and our flowers are and our plants are responsible for photosynthesis, for example. Now we
yeah.
need that also. We need it for our crops. It can go on forever.
Mm,
That is also it's a
very
very important
interesting.
function
Yeah.
of the ecosystem. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Number three, why are so many species disappearing?
Mm,
They disappear mainly
mm,
because of habitats destruction,
mm,
wildlife trade,
mm,
climate change, and population growth, which we all know.
mm.
The more the people, the
Mm.
more, the less animals will be there
It's so
because the
true.
population, yes,
It's just growing and
people,
growing and growing, and
people
it's
build their houses wherever they
yeah.
want.
And like the even like cutting down the trees, when they
Yeah,
deforestation because they need to build somewhere, like you said, they
and
need to
trees
build
is
somewhere.
also important for
And then
oxygen.
yeah, and we taking it's important for oxygen and we taking the home away from a baboon, for example. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah,
must they go?
yeah,
So
yes.
it's like very complex. Thank you so much, Duveen. It was a pleasure working with you. It was really,
Thank you, sir.
really nice.
It was
Uh,
really. Yes,
and
I would love,
to work again.
yes, to work again.
I
We
think so as
understand each
well.
other, help each other, and support
Yeah,
each other. Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you as well. And also, regardless of all of our struggles, we
We
remained
have
calm
mastered it.
and we got past it. So I'm proud of us.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Duveen.
Thank
I'm
you.
just going to stop the recording and then we can just finalize the rest of
Yeah.